At the end of our round we need to make the last chain of 5 and slip stitch into the first chain, so into the single crochet. And now I will swap my color and I will do slip stitch with the new color now. Now we need to make chain 1 and then slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. So now we need to be in the center of our chain space. Chain 1 as a chain 1 space, then chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain 5 space, chain of 5, single crochet into the second stitch, so we need to skip the 3 double crochets together, and into the second one we will work single crochet, chain of 5, and now single crochet into the third stitch, so we need to skip the next 2, into the third one single crochet, chain of 5, single crochet into the chain space, chain of 5 again, single crochet into the next chain 5 space, chain of 5, and we need to repeat single crochet into the second stitch, chain of 5, single crochet into the third stitch, so that we need to skip 2 stitches, chain of 5, single crochet into the first chain space. So from now we need to repeat making chain 5 and repeat our pattern all the way around. At the end of our round we need to work chain of 5 and then slip stitch into the first chain. And now we need to start round 21, so slip stitch into the next 3 stitches, or actually slip stitch into the next 2. And now we need to make chain of 3 as a first double crochet and 4 more double crochets into the same chain stitch. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then into the next chain space 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we need to make chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, single crochet into the next chain space, then chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next chain space. So basically now we need to work chain 5 space all the way around until as we will be on the opposite side. So again, now chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space. So if you are not sure which one exactly is, so if we've got 2 double crochets, actually 2 double crochets on the previous rounds here, so on the opposite side we need to have exactly the same 2 double crochets and chain of 5 until we will have the opposite side. So then we will need to repeat what we've done here. So now keep continue. In a minute I will show you how many chain 5 spaces exactly you need to make. Okay, so now we should have done 25 chain 5 spaces, and now we should be exactly at the end of our heart. So we've got the last chain space where we've done the heart motif. And then after the last chain of 5, or after the last single crochet into the chain 5, we need to work another chain of 5, and into the next chain space we have to work 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then into the next chain space 5 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now chain of 4, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 4, into the next chain space 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the next stitch 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next chain space. So now we've got first chain 5, and again we need to make 25 chain 5 spaces, so at the end we should have the last 3 chain spaces. So in each, so here into the first 2 we will work 5 double crochets, then chain of 4, single crochet at the end, chain of 4 and slip stitch into the top of chain 3. At the end of our round, as I said, we into the last one we need to work chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, and into the 2 stitches before, 2 chain spaces before, we will work 5 double crochets in each one. Now slip stitch into the top of chain 3, and then we can fasten off and cut the yarn. Now we will start working in rows, so we will start working on the sides where we need to join. We will join again, but not in the same place. That's why I am cutting the yarn. So we've got 2 chain spaces with 5 double crochets, and we are going onto the right side and into the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Into the 5th chain space we need to join. So that can be hard, so I will join into the chain space, not into the chain, I will join into the chain stitch, not into the chain space. Okay, so I'm in. I've done chain 1 as a joining chain, and now we need to work chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we are going into the next chain space, single crochet, chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, and again chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, one more time chain of 5. So at the moment, from the beginning, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 chain 5 spaces. Now 1 double crochet into the next 10 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So 10 double crochets, then chain of 3 and 1 double crochet into the next 10 stitches. So now we can hide our tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So another 10 double crochets, chain 3 and 10 double crochets. So as I said, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 chain 5 spaces, and now we need to work the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the first chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the second chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the third and 2 times 5. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Single crochet into the next chain space. So now we should have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain 5 spaces. So we should be exactly into the same line as we started our row. So that was row 22. So actually, to finish our row, instead of making chain of 5, we will do chain of 2. I forgot that we need to start another row, so we need to work chain of 2 and then treble crochet into the next chain space. So again, we've got 5 chain 5 spaces, but now we are exactly into the center. So row 23. So row 23, we need to start by turning our work, and we need to start by making chain of 5, then single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we've got again 5 chain 5 spaces, and now we need to make into the first 3 stitches 3 double crochets together. So in each stitch I will work only the first part of the double crochet. 1, 2 and 3. We've got 4 loops on the hook, we can finish the stitch. And now into the next 6 stitches 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and into the last one 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Now, without any chain stitches, we are going into the next double crochets and 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3 into the next 6 stitches, into the next 6 stitches, 1 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now we should have the last 3 double crochets, and we need to make 3 double crochets together. So first part of the double crochet, now into the second stitch, first part of the double crochet, and into the third stitch, first part of the double crochet. 4 loops on the hook, you can finish the stitch. Chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the first chain space, chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the third chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, and now chain of 2, and treble crochet into the next chain space. So basically chain of 2 and treble crochet is as our last chain space. So again, on both sides we should have 5 chain spaces. Round 25, again we need to start by making chain of 3, then single crochet into the next stitch, chain of 5, single crochet into the next stitch, so chain of 6, chain of 5, and again chain of 5, single crochet into the next stitch, and one more time chain of 5. So again we've got 4 times chain space. And now into the first double crochet, so into the first stitch, into the top of 2 double crochets together, we will work 1 double crochet, and then into the next 2 stitches we need to make 2 double crochets together, 1 and 2. Double crochet into the next stitch, and then into the next 2 stitches 2 double crochets together, double crochet into the next stitch, into the next 2 stitches 2 double crochets together, and again double crochet into the next stitch, into the next 2 double crochets together, and we need to finish by making double crochet into the last stitch. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 stitches. Chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the first chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the second chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, now chain of 2 and treble crochet into the next chain space. Round 26, chain of 6. Now we have to turn our work, single crochet into the first chain space, then chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, and then chain of 5. So again 4 chain spaces. Now into the first 3 stitches, 3 double crochets together. So first part of the double crochet into the first stitch, then first part of the double crochet into the top of 2 double crochets together, and first part of the double crochet into the third stitch. We've got 4 loops, we can finish the stitch. Now into the next 3 stitches, 1 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, then into the last 3 stitches, 3 double crochets together, 1, 2 and 3. 4 loops on the hook, we can finish the stitch. So now chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the first chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet, we've got 2, 3, into the next chain space, and now chain of 2, treble crochet into the next chain space. So another 4 chain spaces. Round 27, chain of 6, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, and one more time chain of 5. So again our round, we start by making 4 chain spaces, and now we will work 5 double crochets together. So into the top of chain of 3 double crochets we need to make first part of the double crochet, then into the next 3 stitches again, 1, 2 and 3, and then into the top of 3 double crochets again. So now we should have 6 loops on the hook, we can finish our stitch, chain of 5, single crochet into the first chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, then chain of 2 and treble crochet into the next chain space. Round 28 we need to start again by making chain of 6, then we need to turn our work, single crochet into the first stitch, and now chain of 5, single crochet into the first stitch, chain of 5, single crochet into the next stitch, chain of 5, single crochet into the next stitch. So now as you can see the third chain 5 space is exactly onto the top, so we've done another 2 chain 5 spaces plus 1 chain of 6. So again now we need to work chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, then chain of 2, treble crochet into the next chain space. 2 chain 6 spaces, one at the beginning, one at the end, plus another 5 chain 5 spaces. Round 29, chain of 6, turn the work, single crochet into the first chain space, now chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5 again, single crochet into the next chain space, 2 more times chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, and now chain of 2 and treble crochet into the next stitch. So sometimes if you are not sure where you're actually supposed to finish, you can easily see now we've got chain spaces, but on the next round we've got treble crochet. So that means that was our first or last chain space on the previous round, so we have to finish into the first chain space before the treble crochet. So at the moment our work look like that. Round 30, chain of 6, single crochet into the first chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, now chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space. So we've done 1 chain 6 space, then 3 chain 5 spaces, chain of 2, into the next stitch 1 treble crochet. Round 31, chain of 6. So in each round at the moment we are working 1 chain 5 space less than on the previous round. Single crochet into the first chain space, now chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space. So you've got 2, now chain of 5, and then 1, yes, single crochet into the next chain space, then chain of 2 and treble, and I've done wrong, so now I am getting confused. So where is my chain 6 space, then 2 chain 2 spaces, and now yes, and now chain of 2 and 1 treble crochet into the next chain space. So in this round we should have 2 chain 6 spaces, or actually 1 treble crochet and 2 chain 5 spaces. Round 32, again chain of 6, now single crochet into the first chain space, chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, and then chain of 2 treble crochet into the next chain. So now in this round we've got only 3 chain spaces. Round 33, again chain of 6, single crochet into the first chain space, and then chain of 6 again, single crochet and chain of 2, chain of 2 and treble crochet into the chain space. And now the last one row, chain of 6. So this is the row 34. Single crochet into the next chain space. So now we can actually fasten off, cut the yarn. At the moment our work look like that. So now the same pattern we need to repeat on the opposite side. So we need to repeat our pattern from row 22. So this was the row 21. So from row 22. Now we need to turn our work, and again, so as we've got our two chain spaces with 5 double crochets together, we are counting 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, fifth chain space, one, two, three. So into the fifth chain space. Now we need to join, so I will join into the third chain stitch, exactly the same as on the opposite side. Chain 1 as a chain space, and now chain of 5. Single crochet into the next chain space, then chain of 5. Single crochet into the next chain space, and basically now we need to repeat everything what we've done from the row 22 to the row 34. So again at the end I've done the last chain of 6, then slip stitch into the next chain, and now we will start working on our border all the way around. So what we have to do, I will join my yarn into the chain space, into the top chain space. And now we need to make chain of 5. So I've done chain 1 as a single crochet, then chain of 5, then single crochet into the same chain space, chain of 5, one more single crochet into the same top chain space. So basically on the top chain space we've done 3 single crochets plus 2 chain 5 spaces. Now chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, we are going into the next chain space and we need to make single crochet, so basically into the next round. Chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space, into the next row, into the next row. Chain of 5, single crochet into the next chain space. So by working this way we need to repeat our pattern all the way around. So on the longer sides we have to work chain of 5 and single crochet in each chain space until we will have another top chain space on the opposite side. So into the top one we need to work 3 single crochets and 2 chain 5 spaces, and then again we need to repeat what we are doing now, chain of 5 and single crochet in each chain space. At the end of our round we need to work the last chain of 5 and then slip stitch into the first single crochet, but now I will do chain of 1 and treble crochet into that chain 1. So we've done the last chain space but making treble crochet. So now we will start second round and we will work chain of 3 as a first double crochet into the same chain space, 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2, then chain of 2. Now we've got 2 chain spaces on the top, so we need to work 3 double crochets into the first one, then chain of 2, into the single crochet between 2 chain spaces we have to make 3 double crochets again, 1, 2 and 3, chain of 2, and into the next chain space 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, then chain of 2. Now we are going into the next chain space and we have to work 3 double crochets, then chain of 2, into the next chain space again 3 double crochets, chain of 2. So now we need to repeat our pattern, making 3 double crochets in each chain space until the next top stitch where we've done 2 chain spaces, and then so exactly on the opposite side where we've got 2 chain spaces in 1 chain space. So then now we are working 3 double crochets in each chain space, and between each groups of 3 double crochets we have to work chain of 2, and on the opposite side we have to, on the top we need to work exactly the same. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, then 3 double crochets into the single crochet and another 3 double crochets, and then again 3 double crochets in each chain space and between chain of 2. At the end of our round we need to work slip stitch into the top of chain 3. So now we will start round number 3, and in this round we need to make slip stitch into the first 2 stitches and then into the chain space. Now chain of 3 as a first double crochet and 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, into the same chain space, then chain of 2 into the next chain space. So as you can see, now we've got three groups of 3 double crochets onto the top of our work. So into the next chain space again we need to work 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, then chain of 2, 3 double crochets into the next chain space, 1, 2 and 3, then chain of 2. So we've done another 2 groups of 3 double crochets onto the top, and into the next one we will work 1 more 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and now chain 1, into the next chain space we will work treble crochet, then chain of 5 and 1 more treble crochet into the same chain space. So that's why I am counting. So we've done 4 groups of 3 double crochets, and at the end on the opposite side we need to work the same treble crochet, chain 5 and treble crochet. So you have to be careful, you have to watch exactly where we've got the 3 groups of 3 double crochets onto the top, because we need to repeat this pattern on the other side, exactly here. So we need to work treble crochets, chain of 5 and treble crochets after the 2 groups plus 1. And now we are going back by making chain of 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain space, chain of 2, and again 3 double crochets into the next chain space, chain of 2. So after 2 treble crochets and chain of 5, we need to work another 4 groups of 3 double crochets together. 1, 2 and 3, chain of 2 and 1 more. One, 2 and 3. And now again chain of 1, treble crochet into the next chain space, chain of 5, treble crochet into the same chain space, chain of 1. So now after chain 1, another 4 groups of 3 double crochets into the next 4 chain spaces. So I've done 3 double crochets, chain of 2, and again three double crochets, chain of 2, then 3 double crochets, so we've done 1, 2, 3, chain of 2, 1 more, 3 double crochets into the next chain space, chain 1, then treble crochet into the next stitch, next chain space, chain of 5, 1 more treble crochet into the same chain space, chain 1, and again we need to repeat our pattern by making 4 groups of 3 double crochets and then our V-stitch by making treble crochet, chain 5 and treble crochet. So as I said, at the end our round we need to finish by making treble crochet, chain 5 treble crochet into the last chain space, then chain of 1 and slip stitch into the top of chain 3. Now we will start next round, now round number 4. So into the round number 4 we have to work slip stitch into the next 2 stitches and then into the chain space. Now chain of 3 as a first double crochet and 2 more double crochets into the same chain space. Chain of 2 into the next chain space, 3 double crochets. Chain of 2 into the next chain space, 3 double crochets. So now after the last 3 double crochets we have to work 2 chain stitches and we are going into the chain of 5. So we need to skip chain 1, into the chain of 5 we will work 7 treble crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. After the last treble crochet, chain of 2, and again we need to skip chain 1 space. We are going into the chain 2 space and we will work 3 double crochets, then chain of 2, 3 double crochets into the next chain space, chain of 2, into the next chain space, 3 double crochets, chain of 2, and again we need to repeat what we've done before. So we need to skip chain 1 space and into the chain of 5, 7 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Then chain of 2, we need to skip chain 1 space into the chain of 2. We will work 3 double crochets. So now we need to repeat our pattern all the way around. 7 treble crochets in each chain 5, and then in each chain 2 from the previous round we need to work 3 double crochets and then again chain of 2. At the end of our round, again the last chain of 2 and slip stitch into the top of chain 3. Now we need to start round number 5 by making slip stitch into the next 2 stitches and into the chain space, chain of 3 as a first double crochet, then 2 double crochets into the same chain space. So again into the chain 2 spaces we need to work 3 double crochets, then chain of 2, we are going into the next chain space and we need to work 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Now chain of 2, we need to skip the next 3 double crochets, the next chain of 2, we are going straight into the treble crochet, and into the first treble crochet we need to work double crochet, then chain 1, then into the next treble crochet, 1 double crochet, chain 1. So now in each stitch we need to make double crochet and then chain 1. At the end we should have 7 double crochets and 6 chain 1 spaces. So double crochet, chain 1, then 1 more double crochet, and after the last double crochet we need to work chain of 2. We need to skip first chain of 2, 3 double crochets into the second chain of 2, 3 double crochets, then chain of 2, into the next chain space, 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, then chain of 2, and again after 2 groups of 3 double crochets we are going into the next treble crochet and we will work double crochet, then chain of 1 and again double crochet, chain 1, and now we need to repeat our pattern all the way around. So between groups of 7 double crochets we have to work 2 groups of 3 double crochets in chain 2 space, and then again 7 double crochets and 6 chain 1 spaces. At the end of my round, after the last double crochet and then chain of 2, I need to make a slip stitch into the top of chain 3, but this time I'm going back to the orange color, so I will change the yarn. And now I will make a slip stitch by using orange. And now we need to start next round, round number 6. And we will work exactly the same as on the previous round. So slip stitch into the second stitch and into the third, then slip stitch into the chain space. So now I will cut the white yarn because I don't need this anymore. And now we need to make chain of 3 as a first double crochet, then 2 more double crochets into the same chain space. 1 and 2. So again our round we start by making 3 double crochets into the chain space, and now chain of 3. We need to skip 3 double crochets, then chain space, and now into the first 2 double crochets we will work 2 double crochets together. So into the first stitch I am making first part of the double crochet, then I need to yarn over, and I am going to the next stitch and I will do first part of the double crochet. I've got 3 loops on the hook, then I can finish the stitch. Now chain of 3. I am going back to the same chain space as I finished, and I need to make another first part of the double crochet. Then I am going into the next stitch and I will do first part of the double crochet again. I've got 3 loops on the hook. Now I am finishing the stitch. Chain of 3, and again I am going back to this stitch, first part of the double crochet, and into the next one, first part of the double crochet. 3 loops on the hook, we can finish the stitch. Chain of 3. So now this pattern we need to repeat to the last double crochet. So after 2 double crochets together we need to work chain of 3, then we are going back to the same stitch, 1 2 3, one more time, so after the last 2 double crochets together we have to work chain of 3, and then we need to skip chain 2 space, 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. We will work 3 double crochets, 1 2 and 3, then again chain of 3, and we've got another groups of 7 double crochets. So now we need to repeat what we have done here, and then again. So basically now we need to work only one group of 3 double crochets together in one chain space. So now then we need to work chain of 3 and 1 2 3 4 5 6 times 2 double crochets together plus 1 2 3 4 5 chain 3 spaces. Now we've got the last one round number 7. So I am exactly in the center of the shorter edge between 2 shells, so between 2 spaces where we've done V stitches. So now as I've done slip stitch into the top of chain 3, I will do chain 1 as a single crochet, then chain of 3 as a chain 3 space, single crochet into the second double crochet, then chain of 3 and single crochet into the third one. Now chain of 3, single crochet into the chain space, chain of 3. Now we've got V-stitches. We are going into the first V-stitch and we will work 2 single crochets, chain of 3 and 2 single crochets, all in the same chain space. Now we are going to the next chain space and the same, 2 single crochets, chain 3 and 2 single crochets. Into the next chain space, 2 single crochets, chain 3 and 2 single crochets. So now we need to repeat our pattern in each chain space, so I've got 2 more to do. Not double crochet, 2 single crochets, chain of 3 and 2 single crochets, and again 2 single crochets, chain of 3 and 2 single crochets. Now after the last 2 single crochets we need to work chain of 3, single crochet into the second double crochet, chain of 3, and we've got another V-stitches. So now we need to repeat exactly the same as we've done, 2 single crochets, chain 3 and 2 single crochets, and then again chain of 3, single crochet into the second stitch, chain of 3, and again we need to repeat what we've done here. So then we need to continue our pattern to the next short corner, and again between 2, so just on the center between 2 shells we've got groups of 3 double crochets, and we need to repeat what we've done at the beginning of our round. So single crochet into the first stitch, chain 3 into the second stitch, chain of 3, then into the third stitch, and then in each group of 3 double crochets we need to work single crochet into the middle stitch and chain of 3 on the both sides. At the end of our round we need to work slip stitch just into the first chain, so into the first single crochet, and that's it. Our doily is done. So thank you for staying with me to the end of this tutorial. If you are new on my channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time and have a good day.